Hello everyone, it is the Sunday GT Challenge Series here from ESR on the Mio Onboard Series. Today I am in the Mercedes AKSP Car GT3 AMG for this race, and we are racing around Suzuka for the second day in a row. We did the Super Series on Saturday, and now the GT Challenge Series here. Quick recap of this championship basically. We're in a two-way battle with John Barker. Championship-wise, where is Mr. Barker? Where is the Honda? There he is. He is currently in 20th place, and I'm about 6/10 behind him in 25th. I think I can go faster, for sure. I was faster than the Lexus, which is a bit disappointing because the Mercedes is generally supposed to be stronger than the Lexus, and not today. Javier Eugeni joining in behind me there in the BMW M6. He is faster than me, so if he wants to get by, we will accommodate him on that. Losing a lot of time in sectors 1 and 2 to the pole sitters. Sector 3 is quite good. I'm very on the pace there. Oh, wait. Oh, boy. Okay. Saved it. That was an ugly run through the S's. Or, there's another name for these ones on the Suzuka track map, but it is eluding me right now. We're also part of a team, of course, with Wayne Hutchison and John Picha. But as a team, we're not really competing against anybody particularly. There's largely no real rival team. 2Cs has been kind of our rival this season, but we're kind of breaking them open these days a little bit. Although they are coming back a little bit with some strong efforts from Connor Levy. So credit to them, and Tommy Biglino is back. Tommy was missing for a while, and that was kind of allowing us to eke out a pretty big lead. And then there's like Kessel with Simeon Naku and Daniel Madringa, but the loss of Douglas DeGroat has really hurt that team. We're not in the same league as a Triple F Orange or a 9 Shiza. And then, of course, with Mikka Whutt sitting on the bench because of being kind of close to a ban on a license level. And to be clear, Mika's a good driver. It's just there's a little bit of aggression and sometimes not necessarily the talent to pull it off. And that has led to him picking up some penalties that have limited him a little bit. The team has been kind of heavily penalized just in general, so that's been their problem. And as a result, we've kind of left them behind us. So yeah, it's really just my individual goal to beat John Barker. And I'm not going to lie, a part of me actually doesn't want to beat him today because his 0 score at Kalami plus picking up a penalty for taking out Wayne has left me with a pretty good cushion, and if I beat him today, there'll just like be nothing to play for at the season finale at Bathurst. So I'm kind of wishing him a good day, and me to have a good day. So like if both of us could have like our best results of the season, like that would be probably like a perfect day. Probably not going to happen. I'm towards the back of the pack in pace. Again, a little frustrated that I was faster in the Super Series and the theoretically weaker Lexus car than this Mercedes, but I mean, some of it is track condition, of course. Today is a very different day to yesterday's race. Yesterday's race being, 5 in the morning, this one being 4 in the afternoon. Leads to a very different feel. A very different track. Let's flip us over here to overall. So we're right behind Wayne Hutchison in the results right now. Simeon Naku's kind of in our ballpark. Javier Perez-Torres up the road. Again, being beaten by Javier. He's come a long way, and he's developing a lot of comfort in that Lexus. Behind us, we have Dan Anderson. It's a little surprising. Dan's a pretty quick driver. And we have one of the Triple F boys, either Matt Higgs or Murray Ewanchuk in behind me right now. It is Murray. Murray's in 8th place. I'm on a hot lap, so, like, the problem is I can't, like, you know, it's not a blue flag scenario, even though he is much quicker than I am. We'll see if he forces the issue. If it was Matt Higgs, I would feel not bad at all. Oh, he's gone, actually. It is now Chris Johnson's up in 3rd. Take a moment to give that man a round of applause. Chris Johnston is showing up in qualifying these days. Whoa. Putting a face to the Mercedes Challenge for some respect in this series that has been kind of lacking since the departure of Joe Nolasco. I mean, we've had Max Simmons and his late pit strategy that gets him up into like the top 5 constantly. And then falls back because I don't think he really knows how to work that strategy. I've talked about that before on the Onboard series. I shouldn't make fun of Max. He's a really young kid. He's a kid, a proper kid, and he's faster than I am. So as he learns, he'll get better. But I just think that sometimes his immaturity shows a little bit. I honestly think that he gets a kick out of just running at the front without any real, like, thought for the final result. Like, it's, oh, I got to run in, you know, 4th or 5th place, but, like, I'm handicapping my own results by having, you know, losing a ton of time out there on worn tires when everyone else is getting the fresh rubber. And the fact that he just and the fact that he just doesn't light the tires up at the end and do, like, mind-boggling good laps means that he's not really paying off. This might be a new fastest lap, but not anything that's gonna. Yeah, it was a slightly fastest lap. Bad exit on Casio though, kind of robbed it. Johnston is gone, and we're back with Murray. Oh, Vic Nash at the side of the road. So usual rules today, 60-minute race with a mandatory tire stop. And of course, because this game has a mandatory pit stop time of 30 seconds, that means we will be taking on fuel. I think I've worked it out to be about a 60-55 split on the gas. I think. And that will, as usual, give us enough fuel to make it to the end and do the cooldown lap without any significant fuel saving measures. That's what I always go for. So Murray pulled off the road, so I don't have to worry about that. I got Juan Ramos up the road. Juan is one of the least talented drivers in the field. He has a lot of, like, responsibilities in life that's going to keep him from doing, like, the full commit. I'm a little bit worried about the heat on that left front tire. There was Juan at the side of the road, unfortunately. Well, I mean, I lost time, so who cares if it's illegal? If it's legal lap or not. All right, one more lap in this stint, or 2 more laps in this stint. Maybe no, just 1. This first turn is very difficult. It is where I'm losing time, I think. .28 at the moment. Oh, boy. Let's bring up the overalls again. Wayne and Andreas on either side of me. Wayne's getting along a lot better with the Aston Martin, it seems, in the 3D Speed Series. It seems like the Mercedes just does not, for whatever reason, suit him. Just doesn't really make a ton of sense if you really think of it. Well, Matt Higgs has got problems. Which, I still haven't checked if people can hear the Discord on the new recording setup. I think they can't. And as a result, you may hear me respond to questions that you can't hear. And I'll appear even crazier than usual. We're having a lovely talk about whether the FIA really favored Prost or not. And for those who are wondering, it's not so much that I think the FIA didn't favor Prost, it's that I think it's been blown out of proportion. Like the 1984 Monaco Grand Prix is like the great example of this, where people are like, oh, they cheated for him right there by calling the race early, and the Jackie Ickx being a Porsche driver and being the race, the Clark of the course, and all that. Kind of ignoring that the fact that and granted, this is a little bit of hindsight, but at the time, it really only got Prost a half point. Because those who don't know, the red flagging of the race meant that he didn't get full points for the win. He got 4.5 points, which is, of course, a half point more than you got back in the day for third place, which is what he probably would have finished otherwise, because that's at least what it appeared, because at the time, Beloff and Senna were the two catching him, and may have overtaken him. That being said, pretty much everyone associated with the Toleman organization has since admitted that Senna had broken the floor of his car and was unlikely to make it to the end of the race. And then Beloff, of course, was driving a Tyrrell, which would be disqualified later on anyways for the whole lead shot fiasco. So the reality is, if the race had gone full distance, Prost probably would have won and gotten 10 points. Now, obviously that's hindsight or whatever, but like stopping the race was only going to get him an extra half point, best case scenario, and was going to lose him points if he would have held on for the win or second place. And he ended up losing the championship by less than the margin that he would have gotten had he finished in second place in that race to teammate Niki Lauda. As we'll let Matt Higgs through. Might have been a bit awkward to stop there, but oh well. And basically, as a result, he actually kind of lost what would have been his first world title because of a Monaco conspiracy that people think was designed to significantly help him. And it just doesn't add up in my mind. And then you have the whole Suzuka stuff with Ayrton Senna. And if he had feuded with any driver other than Senna at that track, I think it would have been like Senna is the motorsport fans are like a big fan of mystique, and Ayrton Senna created an amazing mystique around himself with his sayings and the Sao Paulo cabbie and the story of Ayrton Senna that may or may not be 100% sure. We got one more lap here. Oh, Dan Anderson not happy with somebody on Discord. Might have been him at the side of the road there. It was... Oh, alright. I think this lap is done. Yeah, this lap is probably done. Max Simmons with an apology. Somebody. Maybe Dan Anderson? Nah, we're a half second off. We're just gonna pull off. We're gonna have to live with that. Not a great qualifying effort. We'll see what happens. So 28th at best, 3 seconds off of the pole sitter Mike Stofmeel. This is a pretty decent track for the BMW, I think. So let's have a look at the tires. Things are okay, but a little bit off. Track temp dropped. We'll see if what the track temp is at the start of the race, if I want to correct on that. So let's bring this up to 60 liters. Let me check my reference sheet here real quick. Okay, I want a little bit more than that. Okay, so we'll start on 65 liters. And 55 we'll put on in the pits. Unless something changes. Okay. Well, I am disappointed but ready to go. I wouldn't say that I got out-qualified by anyone that I'm disappointed to be out-qualified by, because, I mean, okay, it's Wayne, it's Finn, it's Javi. The two Hasses are struggling a little bit. Sean Barker, Simi Naku, Dan Anderson, Butler, newcomer Chris Nottencamper, who goes by Chris Naughty in the sim. I don't know why. I'm ahead of the people that you would associate with being behind me, like the Andreas Lacutises, Guillermo Taylors, Mauricio Delgado, Vic Nash, Tommy Biglino. Bad day for Francisco Toledo by the looks of it. John Peaches at the back. That's not good. 37 cars, though. 37 cars, and we're in 29th place. It's not good. Although we're in a tight pack, because, I mean, the 3 cars ahead of me are only about 2/10. Even the Hasses are not too far. Barker's not too far. It's really about, like, Dan Anderson, where you get to, like, a gap that can't really be competed with. But we'll see. We'll see who keeps it calm on the first lap and how it goes from there. Because we know lap 1 has been a disaster in this series a lot of the time. And the best results I've had anyways, at Kyle Almy and Zandvoort were facilitated by that. So we'll see what happens. Cole McRae is doing a single-man boot today because Ayrton Tobin is actually racing with us. So that's kind of cool. So good luck to Cole. And let's get on the track and see what I can do. A little bit tired, a little bit raced out. We had 2 races yesterday. And that definitely does have me in a bit of a weird headspace. But we'll see what happens. Also having to play like a little bit of peacemaker in the stewarding with one of the steward and somebody, so that also weighs on the brain a little bit. Got 2 water bottles here today because the Camelback was not refilled for this race. So it's just got kind of the remnants of yesterday's water, which means it's kind of lukewarm. And not very impressive, but it'll do. It's Japan. They're probably wearing masks. Why is this taking so long to roll over? Oh, it's because somebody's still out there. Car 111. It's Simeon. Simeon, get your butt back to the pits. It's only you. Oh, I noticed that the race time started 4 p.m., so I've got a slight error in the configuration file. It's supposed to be 3 p.m. Short formation. We seem to get better results with the short as far as people being stupid on lap 1. We'll start on tire set 10. Plan dry stop, the wet stop, and then the damage stop. Alright, let's get moving. 39 degrees. Okay, so tracked. So pressures will probably be good. Tires are required, fuel is not, but if you're familiar with the pit stopping system, there is no reason not to do fuel. Ooh, the Lambo's up front. Good day for Triple F. Andrew Anderson in the top 10. That's good to see. Andy Long as well. So 2 of the 9 shies is in there. Max Simmons a pretty decent G. Considering he was first in practice, Wesley Stokes probably can't be Wesley Stokes probably shouldn't be that happy for 13th. Swan, Levy, Eugenie, newcomer Ayrton Tobin, Simeon Naku. All right, let's get this on. I hate that you can't put it in gear 1.
Going double file.
Here we go. Won't abuse the whole ghost in cars too badly. I mean, it's sort of like I will do it if it's like safer to do it that way instead of like slamming the brakes on. But like, you know, it's a warm-up lap. You're just gonna have to resume position anyways. So there's no real point. Beside me, so we're gonna be careful at the start because our teammate is there, and our third teammate is at the back. So me and Wayne are kind of carrying the ASP hopes here today. Turn the engine back up. Keep it under 70 here for the start. Little bit of brake. Here we go. Wait for the green lights. And we have them. Bit of a bad start there by John Barker. I don't want to get mixed up in this, though. Got hit. I think that was Andreas Lakudis. Saw a hint of green, so I think it says, oh, Levy's off, Long's off, that's somebody in the top 10 that's off, oh boy. So, messy. We knew there was going to be some. Wayne's still with us, that's good. Anderson, Javi Perez Torres, the Hasses are here, Finn Esche. Who's behind us? It's Guillermo Taylor. Looks like the Triple F boys are having some side-by-side front fun higher up. Go to the inside of Javi. And, oh, a drive-through from Maxi Lentini, the championship contender with Mike Stofmeel. Where'd Javi go? Javi has disappeared, so he must have gone off. I didn't feel a contact. I do hope that I didn't hit him. Me and Javi are quite good buddies, I think. He's on my Super Mega Baseball team. Alright, so behind Hutchison and Anderson. And then Finn Esche is up the road in the Phase 2 Porsche. Kind of dropping back, so it looks like my battle is going to be with Wayne and Dan. A little late on the brakes there. That was a little aggressive. Got a little close. Oh, Finn Esche off the track. Oh, he's got something very wrong with the car. He needs to hobble into the pits. I think. Looks like one of the wheels is there. Somebody served drive-through. Car 911. I think that's Maxi Lentini. So, this race has suddenly gone very badly for the Phase 2 crew, which is Maxi Lentini and Finn Esche. I need to keep an eye on that blue McLaren up ahead. I know I said we didn't really have a team to fight with, but it still pretty much is the 2C McLaren crew. which are the blue and black McLarens. And Connor Levy is the leader of that team. Just by dint of pace. He actually joined the team later. The team originally was Ryan Gonzalez as the leader. And he had military service that kept him away for a bit. And opened up a spot on the team that was initially filled by Martin Hughes. But then Martin signed out of the series, and that has since gone to Connor Levy. I'd say Vic Nash is the technical leader of the team. Even if the pace doesn't necessarily bear that out. He's the one that's always here, the good attender, the organizer basically for that team. And that is an important role. I'm not really looking to fight with Finn Esche, who's filling up my rear view right now. This Casio triangle corner always gets me weird. It's not even that hard of a turn. It's just a standard chicane, but I can't for the life of me get a consistent run through it. Don't know why. Well, I mean, it's merely my only lap so far. I mean, okay, 204.8. I'd like to get into low 204s under race conditions, so not a terrible start. Honestly, I think I can probably even do a high 2. Oh. And as I'm talking about going faster, I'm going to lose a spot to Finn Esche and maybe to Delgado. I'm a little deep with Delgado for bringing the illegal livery, so I'm going to fight him maybe a little bit harder than I would normally. Guillermo Taylor's behind him, and then Andy Long, who had problems at the start. Thinking usual strategy today, unless there's a weather change to consider, and doesn't look like it. At least for the next 15 minutes, we got clear skies. A little bit off there. And that's going to let Delgado through. Lots of mistakes this lap. Alright, head down. Regrouping time. Cannot be losing out to the likes of Mauricio and Guillermo Taylor. And be doing my team proud. So 203 for Wayne Hutchison and Finn Esche. So the fact that I'm thinking maybe 203s are just possible is not good. For my hopes and dreams, Andy Long is now in behind me. Serious problems with the S's right now. Second lap in a row where there's major problems. Might need to go higher traction control to try and help with some of it. Good run through Dunlop at least. Pondering what happened with Finn Esche's car earlier, because it looked really hamstrung, but he's got pace now. So presumably the car is not actually all that physically damaged. No, Wayne. That was teammate Wayne Hutchison off the track. And his car was not looking good. It looks like he headbutted the wall. John Peach in the pit lane. It is falling apart for our team. I've suddenly become the lead car again. Oh no. I'm having maybe my worst race of the season. In terms of pace. In terms of results, I think this is still better than Spa, but we'll see. Some carnage might help us out yet. But I mean, in terms of pace, like, I feel pretty confident we can get past Delgado eventually. Tends to make a lot of mistakes. But what am I, who am I to say that? Because I'm making mistakes. I'm making tons of mistakes today. And I got Guillermo Taylor on my tail along with Andy Long. I expected Andy Long to catch me. I was prepared for that. But now having... Okay, Maxi Lentini's the Porsche catching up, so that's not surprising. He just had a drive-through. I mean, he's a championship contender. That's not somebody I'm going to need to worry about. I'm not actually really trying to make this hard for Andy, but just kind of doing my line here. Sorry, Andy. I knew he was coming down the inside there, so we'll let him through. Light damage shouldn't be a problem. Lentini will get through. I don't really want to fight that. We'll back out. It's Ayrton Tobin parked at the chicane. Hopefully he's just rejoining. Juan Ramos already down a lap. And I think clearly damaged by the way he's swaying. And this has been a not good race. Ayrton, leave the chat alone. Might have to mediate between Tobin and I'm assuming Juan Ramos. Ayrton can be a little worked up. And that's not what we encourage here. And just like that, I've caught Delgado because he fought with Long and Lentini a little bit too much. Which, I mean, you could argue I did with Long as well. But honestly, the only real time I lost, particularly in the whole thing, was having to throw the brakes on a little bit early for 130R to not end up going side by side with Lentini, who for some reason was very slow in the lead up to it. Really? That was a warning. Huh. We'll see. See how that goes. Oh, Lentini's off! Comms are breaking down just a bit. Hey, my fastest lap with a technically illegal lap, but I don't know. I'm kind of a little annoyed by that track cut warning I got, because that seemed really not a warning material. There was a slow car warning, but I don't see who might have been the triggering cause of it. All right. no stranger to fighting with Mauricio. We had a good fight with him at Monza, so aside from the illegal car thing, which has me a little salty with him. It's illegal because we said that this series was not going to use customs. We would allow the in-game customs, but not custom. And as you can see, he's in his Borderlands car that he's running on Wednesdays. And the thing is that the custom cars in this game are a treat because they lag spike people. When you join the server lags as the cars try to load your custom car. Now, admittedly, people can avoid this by just not having the custom cars, and you just get a blank car to race against, which is fine. An example would be like Francisco Toledo, I know, is running a custom car, and just nobody has it, so it doesn't lag spike them. The problem is, because a lot of people are in the 3D Speed Series and this series, who is this Lentini? Oh, this is Esche. This is the same spot Lentini went off. Interesting. So serious problems with it for the Phase 2 crew today. Something has gone chronically wrong in that Porsche, I think. Because we've seen Esche have a couple of problems. We've seen Lentini get a drive-through and then have some problems as well. This is not good because, of course, could mean that the titles are all wrapped up heading into Bathurst because Mike Stofmeel is presumably beating Lentini by a lot here right now. And that's the driver battle. And I would also assume AXRT, who Phase 2 is, trying to keep mathematically alive in the fight for the team's title against, is, also kicking their butt. It's a really bad day for them. It's a bad day for me. No speed. .204.7 as the fastest lap. Ugh. Wesley's not happy about something. I wish people would save it for the end of the race. I really do. I understand that getting taken out on lap 1 is frustrating as hell. Watch my... Was I doing the onboards when we were at Spa? I don't remember now. But if I did, watch the onboard at Spa. I got taken out on lap 1, right at the start. It was a huge pileup, and it was terrible. But it was reviewed. The appropriate offender, which was Max Simmons, got the required penalty. And to be honest, that was a great example of like an accident that seemed like, what is everyone doing? And the reality of it was one guy making an ill-advised move, and the chain reaction took out a bunch of people. And people get super annoyed when they get taken down on lap 1, and I get it, I really do. But it's a developing thing, and don't get me wrong, I think that our driving on lap 1 is not good. If you want an example, go check out the Race Room Enduro Onboard, which I uploaded on Sunday, the 26th or 27th of September 2020 would be its live date. Whatever day today is, it's 27th. From Imola. For an example, I back out of something at the start, and like 3 cars pile right into what I was backing out of. And it's like, it's good to know that you guys think that something that, the admin was like, no, for just his car was totally fine for your 3 cars. Like, that's what I'm getting at, is like, there is some serious problems. Looking at the tires, the left front is a little concerning, but it doesn't explain. It doesn't explain the fact that I'm just not on it today. Like, I mean, still behind Delgado. Then Finn Esche up ahead of him. And Andy Long is actually only about 8 seconds up the road, stunningly. So, it's not just me. There's some other people having a bad day. By their standards. But, like, I can't really talk about anything from, like, other people's standpoint. Yeah, I got hit at the beginning and I got nudged again. So, like, I got like 4 seconds of damage, but it's not gonna be, it's not remotely enough to explain this whole thing. Car is largely A-okay. It's not like I put way too much, it's not like I'm running probably any heavier as Finn Esche goes off again. He's having a terrible day. Wow. I'm talking about my day. Stop. Let's take a moment to appreciate the frustration going through Finn Esche right now. Let's try a little bit of extra traction control. Alright, so pit window open. Not really thinking about it again until about the halfway mark, which is in another 10 minutes. We'll have a more concrete idea of like fuel and so on, because I'm noticing the number I use to calculate is very different from the number I'm getting in the race. So not terribly, but it's enough that the numbers are probably off, and I'm going slower. So that's probably it. I'm using less fuel because I'm going slow, and we'll see if that translates to a lap less or anything. Oh, that was a little bit of a shove. That was a little bit of a shove. We'll have to see if Mauricio wants to report that. I wouldn't have done that to most racers, but I find that the South American racers have a culture of racing, and I don't say this is a negative thing, but they have a culture of racing where there's not a lot of room given, and like I said, it's not a problem because I guess what I'm getting at is it's not a problem because they tend to extend the same to you. What I mean by that is that they don't leave a lot of room for you to overtake, and they're very aggressive overtakers. But they're okay when you do the same. Like, Mauricio probably won't even say anything about that overtake, but if I did it to a number of other drivers, I'd probably be facing something. I've always said it, I don't really care what your standard of driving is, as long as it matches what you expect from other people. So if you're going to be a bit of a touring car, NASCAR driver, stock car, I guess, driver versus a GT driver or F1 driver, that's fine as long as you accept that other people are going to drive you sort of accordingly. Basically nothing is more frustrating, administratively speaking, than a guy who is going to come to you and whine about every little thing and then be the source of all of the headaches in the stewarding room from other drivers. It's like there's trying to think of like a famous example. Somebody in the pits, couple people in the pits, not Capper, Johnston. Wayne's down a lap to me. Oh boy, I think I'm the only scoring ACCA ASP guy today. And it's, to be honest, one of my worst. I am legitimately thinking it's one of my worst races of the season. Again, Spa's gonna wind up being a worse result as we're up in 20th right now. Oh, stop-go penalty for Wayne. Oh boy, this day is not good. Not good for the ASP crew at all. Oh boy. Turn the traction control down for the Degs, because I want to be able to put the throttle down a lot harder through here and the hairpin, and then into the backstretch. Where am I here? Andreas Lacutis is ahead of me, but he's done his pit stop and his lap down. I'm about 12 seconds behind Sasha Hasse, who was having some really bad looking ping at the start. Seems to have kind of calmed down now. Oh, that's wide. No warning though, yet. Kind of pulling away from Delgado and Taylor finally, at least. Turn the traction control back down for the final bit. Or here, I should say, because I'm going to turn it back up for Casio. Because the car gets a little squiggly through Casio a lot. Similarly, it feels a little bit better through turn one. It's kind of, it actually doesn't really make a lot of sense, but it does. So there we go. And then the S's. Getting on Hasse in sector 2, apparently, which is weird, because that's my weakest sector. Might also be his weakest sector, I don't know. The Hasses didn't seem to have as much pace here today as they have at Kyle Almy, Nürburgring, Mons, etc. Still haven't reached the halfway mark. Good run through the S's. A little wider than I'd like through the Degs. Stop go for 7.62. It's one of the 9 Shiza Aston Martins, I think. That's 2 drive-throughs. There were a lot of drive-throughs at the practice race, so much so that I managed to get on the podium. Oh, that tire's not good, though. So, left front is a problem. I'm going to take some pressure out of that at the pit stop. Teammate Wayne Hutchison has served his drive-through. Or stop-go, I can't remember which one it was. Hasse and Butler in the pits. Probably looking at a pit another 2 laps. Probably still running outside the top 20. And with all the bad luck today, that's on me. Because, again, can't blame anyone but me for the race right now. You know, there's been some contact, but, you know, the car is not ridiculously damaged or anything. Just not putting down good laps. Speaking of the pit lane for one of the 9 Chizes. Same one that was before. I'm just clarifying what the penalty is for. And it's a track I know. Suzuka is a track I've had some pretty good results at. I mean, I've made a minor mistake on front tire pressure, but realistically, there's not a reason the car should be underperforming like this. So, problem is a picnic. A friend of mine uses that saying of problem is in car, or problem in chair, not in car. Picnic.
There's a car accident in lane.
That is Toledo, who is a lap down. So he should give way. And he does, and didn't really even have the chance. Alright, so we're at the halfway point. Oh boy. That's not good.
We are halfway through. Keep pushing.
No warning. Okay. Let's get this car settled down. And, okay, so we used up about 55 liters of gas. Probably means what my plan is going to put in a little too much, but I'm fine with it. I'm more worried about adjusting the... Somebody is not serving their stop-go. I've been in the wrong traction control for a little bit. Alright, so Connor Levy's 14 seconds up the road. He's not pitted. Is the closest thing right now I have to a rival. We'll go... honestly, might as well pit now. I've got Toledo and Esche battling behind me, and that might come up and bite me in the backside a little bit. This pit lane is a bit of a pain in the butt. There we go. I'm not surprised anyone got a. So let's drop this by 3 and keep the rest the same. Okay. Temperature is going down a little bit. That might actually fix the stuff for me. Anderson, I see a couple of people coming out of the pits. Looks like Sean King's one of them. Or possibly Eric Tobin. Stop the engine. Okay. There we go. Champicha making his way past, having a bad day. So it's a bad day for the team. Vic Nash in the pits behind me. Oh, looks like Vic and I are sharing a stall. Andy Long's the one with the stop-go. She is serving now by the looks of it. John Barker is ahead of me. That's the key rival. Are we in the top 20? Might be in the top 20.
Mandatory stop is not clear.
Let's get out of here. No, we're not in the top 20. Andrew Anderson. Oh, he hasn't pitted. I was going to say. A bit of a weird one to have in second place. Xavier Eugeni, one of the routine... Oh, somebody retreated to the pits. So where are we? 22nd at the moment. Not helping myself by going over the curb like that. Justin Swan, only 7 seconds up the road, so I think his day has gotten progressively worse. It's not that he's never battling against me, because he's a bit of a weird one. He can be like a platinum or a silver driver in the same season. It's a bit weird. But, probably not someone I can catch all that well. Did pick up a spot over whoever that was that triggered the yellow, though. And I do see some pit stoppers to go, so might be something more to be said about this position yet. And behind me is Guillermo Taylor. Well, Xavier Eugeni, but Guillermo Taylor is effectively the guy behind me. I don't think I can... I got to slow it down heavily here. See, going back to the earlier point here, and this is not meant as like a disparaging against Andrew Anderson, because I think he's a good driver and whatever. He's a good dude. I like him. But, like, that was kind of an example there of, like, I really think that if the rules were reversed there, he wouldn't have been happy with me, like, stopping on the lane there after an off. He would have, you know, we're not battling for position. It would have been nice if he's got a pit anyways, if he had just let me through there instead of making that kind of an awkward moment at 130R where it's like, do I unlap myself with an aggressive move, or do I give up some time to be safe? And I feel a little bit like he might have wanted somebody to behave a bit differently than he did right there. Yeah, Justin's pulled out like better part of 2 seconds on me. Max Simmons is in the lead, but it is because he is not yet pitted. I see him anyways. I mean, it's possible he's a pit stop ahead of anybody, but I kind of doubt it. In fact, I could pretty much say it's not true, because we just saw Javier or Xavier Eugeni and Andrew Anderson hit the pits, so they are not a pit stop behind him. It's probably Mike Stofmeel that's winning, if I had to guess. We're going to try a little bit of constant traction control, frankly. See if I can get that lap time up. Or down, I suppose I should say. Oh, when I can. There we go. 2037. So a bit of an adjustment on the tires. And not to mention, of course, much lighter fuel might be helping me out here. Closed in on Swan a bit, actually. Again, not really sure if if he's a guy I can realistically catch up with. That would mean you've not pitted. Are you out of the pits? No, I mean, are you out of the pits? Are you right now in the pits taking service? Does it have a green bar beside your name or an orange one? You have done something wrong with the pit stop then. Unless you can prove it's a glitch, you take a penalty. So I would pit again if I were you. ASAP, because the window's closing. I mean, if the window closes, you're just eating the penalty anyway, so stay out if you're not near the pits. Although, if you are on your original tires, you're probably not getting great lap times. Like, okay as in your fastest laps of the race, or just okay?
The window is now closed.
Simeon. Yeah. Unless you're finding yourself... Unless your, like, tires are completely going, just push on. Simeon Naku is having some pit stop issues. His pit stop was not mandatory. Or did not clear the mandatory. I suspect it's because he didn't change tires. Because he did pit during the window. And there's only 2 requirements. So he's got a penalty up. I think he's ahead of us, and he's got a penalty. So that's nice. Well, not nice, but that could mean the top 20 is within reach. Still catching Justin Swan a little bit. He did a 0.43, I did an 0.4 flat, so, you know, another, or 0.41, so another 0.2. And with better than 18 minutes to go, that could bring me into striking distance. If he makes a mistake. But I think I am still relying on him making a mistake. Might do another pit stop guide video for the ESR channel. I'm gonna review the one I have up and see, like, I don't know, is there anything I didn't really cover in enough detail? Because there are people still having problems, and I know the obvious solution is, hey, they didn't watch the damn video, and it's definitely the case to a certain degree because we don't have as many unique views as people racing ACC with us between the series. So it's definitely the case where there are definitely some people that didn't watch it, and there are some people that didn't need to watch it because they're more ACC heads than I am. So why would they? Why would they? You know, if you can do a pit stop, why are you watching a pit stop video? But it's very clear that a lot of people still struggle with it. About pacing. Swan and Delgado and Taylor are well behind. Yep, Mike Stofmeel is in the lead. Probably won't lap me, but might. Kind of in that gray zone of... Depends how great his laps are right now, and depends. 2042, 2047 for Swan. And I am in the 204 flat. So yeah, making another couple of tenths up. Coming for you, Justin. And for Sasha. I don't think anyone else is really in play. Connor Levy having one of his better runs. So, hats off to him. Yes, the S's. Caught so many times out on the S's today. At least I'm not getting caught out on the hairpin. So, I don't know. We found some pace late, but... Although even this pace is not great. There were people running in my area with faster lap times than this. They just kind of ended up out of the way. Although Swan appears to have hit the afterburners this lap. Could just be that he's being held up by Sasha Hasse, because him and Hasse are very, very close together, like half second apart. So that's a definitive battle going on. Let's see what they did this lap. 051. Ooh, Haas is slow. It's marginally faster than Swan. Seems like Sasha Haas, though, is the one who might fall back into my clutches. Not sure where John Barker's ended up, although he was ahead of me. And then the other question is the Simeon Naku penalty situation. Where is Simeon? Ooh, that sun is blinding. Tire's in a much better pressure zone, so the decision to drop the pressure on that left front is turning out to be a bit of a good idea. Swan still behind Hasse. Does feel like if he gets past, it might leave me for dead. Delgado now 10 seconds back, so he's pretty well covered. Much quicker than Swan that time, but it's still like less than a second I'm making up. There's just not enough time unless him and Hasse really start to get into it. So what we're doing here is trying to stay on the lead lap, not get lapped by Mike Stofmeel would be nice. This is a long track. It'd be nice to finish on the lead lap. Stoff is very dominant today. It looks like he is dominant apparently at the Super Series race 2. I've not watched that yet. It's on my list of things to watch. Pretty much number 2 behind the F1 race. Maybe number 3. I got the 6-round podcast from last night's UFC fight card that I like to break down because it kind of lets me know what some people I respect about the fight business actually thought of the card. I'm left with like a distinct feeling off of that Jan Blachowicz is going to be more or less a transitional champion. And I am also really, really unsold on Paulo Costa's long-term viability as a top contender at middleweight. That might be a little bit too harsh, but I just think that the fact that when presented with a ranged, disciplined kickboxing game partnered with footwork, he didn't know what to do. Alright, so 44.4, 44.5. Again, I'm going to be a little bit faster. 44.2. But it's like 1 to 2. It's like a reliable 2 to 3 tenths. Sometimes a bit more because they are fighting. But again, can't. It's a little too late. We got like, what, 5 laps to go, maybe? Probably 6. And I think Stofmeel is going to lap me. Unless he goes into cruise mode. This has been a weird race. I feel good about some things. Made some good adjustments at the pit stop, which is unlock some pace. But at the same time, I feel like that pace shouldn't have had to been unlocked. Feels like I should have had just better pace at the start. Made a lot of mistakes. Been off the track a couple of times at in the S's, which is not a normal screw-up position for me. I'm here running down 2 pretty fast drivers, but it also feels like with all the problems that Phase 2 had, and some problems for 9 Shiza. The obliteration of Ayrton Tobin, the fact that I'm getting an angry PM from Wesley Stokes suggests that he also had a problem. Like, these are a lot of people to have bad luck befall them. 4-3 and a 4-2. And for me, I'm going to come across with a 3-5. Oh, the bad luck for Wayne Hutchison. Simeon Naku's got a pit stop issue, and the fact that I'm going to turn this into like a 21st position is... It's just a bit weak. There was some carnage on lap 1. And obviously that's going to be an interesting review, stewarding wise. As we at ESR continue to try to clean up the first lap. It's particularly bad on this series ACC game. But it's not like the game's fault, because you see the habits that just simply translate into it in Race Room. Like, again, if you look at the Imola Enduro video, you'll see the same kind of hyper-aggression that, because it's a rolling start in ACC, is just going to be amplified. But, like, it's still there in just everything. So we're down to 5.5 seconds about to Swan. Got a good got an okay lap going here. But Stofmeel will be on me before I can get to Swan, so that'll probably cost me time. What are the laps? 4-5, 5-5 for Swan. Oh boy. So I made up a lot of ground with my 204 flat. A little bit too much curb there. I can see the stuff coming. And there is the blue flag, so we'll be looking to let him through within the next 3 turns. Probably after the Dagnas, I think. Probably on the lead up to hairpin. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Oh, for sure. I think Swan had an off. There's the stop through. I think technically that was 4 turns, but I've always said I don't subscribe to the hard rule of the 3-corner blue flag thing, or the three marshal posts, which tends on most tracks to work up to a corner. So this is a bad lap for me, which is a shame because I think Swan had an off and would have opened up the door, because he hasn't actually pulled out. Like, I'm 2 seconds off my pace and he didn't pull away at all, and he became very visible at the hairpin. So I'm thinking either he made a mistake or went for a move on Hasse that turned out a little bit bad. I think maybe the latter, because it looks like Hasse also doesn't have a good lap there. Yeah, he's only put up a 4.8, so looks like maybe they had a little rub. Car 98 with a penalty. That's one of the AXRT guys, and not Swan. So that's either Arjona or Castano Muniz. One would think they're near the front. Probably not going to help me out. Delgado now 17 seconds behind me, so like there's no threat coming from behind right now. We'll see what happens when Stoff gets up to Justin Swan. That'll be one of the bigger moments. Doing an okay lap here, but nothing great. Time running down. It'll be like maybe 2 laps after this. Probably not even. Probably 1 lap after this. And a fuck up through Spoon has caused this lap to be very problematic. Car 98 has handled this penalty. Swan is lapped. Actually, might get 2 more laps still. It probably will, actually. Mike's running 201s at the moment. Alright, gives me some time to work on Swan. Maybe let him feel a little pressure, but I mean 3 seconds and 2 laps, that's going to be a tough ask. Considering I think the biggest chunk I took out of him in any lap was like 8 tenths. Actually, there was that one lap where I took out over a second because I think he made a mistake. He ran like a 2:05.4 or something. But I mean, in general, it's been just a couple of tenths in it between us right now. Oh, that's Hasse! Top 20, here we are. That's kind of been my, like, random... My arbitrary goal for the season is top 20, so... That's goal achieved. Again, didn't qualify very well, so maybe I need to give myself a little bit of a... less of a cat of nine tails for the lack of pace in the first half of this race. Need to just kind of come to the grips with the fact that I just wasn't very fast today. And that went beyond the the first half of this race, and was a qualifying thing as well, and a practice. I don't know, Mike. Practice felt good actually. Like, there's a reason I was disappointed to be like, what was it, 26th on the grid? It's 20th place right now. Still got a chance to get Stofmeel. Or not Stofmeel, Swan. Get Mike Stofmeel. That's a good one, Mike. That's a good one. You dream of that day that fact may actually be a thing. And then there is the potential penalty to Simeon Naku for no pit stop. Again, I don't know if I'm already ahead of him, though. I assume not, because I don't recall passing him. He out-qualified me. He's generally quicker. Of course, he may have been caught up in an accident at some point. Never know. Speaking of which... say some dust kick up, but it is just John Picha. Come on, John, give a teammate a hand. Thank you. Kind of got close to his nose there, though. Well, I get to finish the race, at least putting the pressure on him. But I needed more laps, I think. Unless he fucks up either Casio or 130R. He was very slow in Casio. Because I did not brake late for that. I was not looking to make a dive there. Might have been saving fuel or something. We can figure out where Naku was and how that will affect. Really happy with the end of the race. The second stint after basically after the pit stop, things were good. The pace picked up. Got into the 203s without too much problem. Low 204s, which was kind of the goal. Didn't qualify very well. Fuel calculation was a little off. We probably have about somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 liters too many. So probably was 50, not 55. Didn't get any penalties. The only thing that might come to the stewards was the forceful overtake on Mauricio Delgado as I'm saying this, and also cruising around here. Making a mistake at the hairpin. Kind of ironic. that I would make my first hairpin mistake on the cooldown lap. After that being the feature of my Super Saturday race. Cruising around. Probably slightly faster than regulations permit. But this is a video game, so to a certain degree. Jeff apologizing for something. Looks like not quite everyone is done. Looks like Francisco Toledo is still rounding off his race. But series heads to Bathurst for the final round of the season, and that will be fairly exciting, I would think. We'll have to figure out what to do with Simeon's penalty, because he's getting 18th place. That really shouldn't be 18th place. If you catch my drift. Because he's only getting that because of the lap. Because he wasn't lapped, basically. I hate that, how the penalty doesn't really take that into account. Alright, so that'll be all from Suzuka. I'll be happy to be clear of this place for a little bit anyways. And we'll check out... Actually, we don't have a lot of racing for the next little bit. So, Super Saturday, next Saturday. That's, I think, the next one.